Racism and abuse linked to higher heart failure risk in black women. Put it up full mass. A new study suggests that experiences of interpersonal racism and childhood abuse lead to a substantially higher risk of heart failure for black women. In a study, they evaluated the prospective associations between different domains of psychosocial stress that disproportionately affect black women and incident heart failure in a large sample of black women that included heterogeneity across geographic location, socioeconomic status, educational level, cardiovascular risk profiles. The study researchers wrote, quote, experience of discrimination in employment and housing or interactions with the police and a history of adolescent sexual abuse, both associated with increased heart failure risk after accounting for demographic and clinical risk factors, which meant they vetted out to normalize so that a person did not have a particular clinical diagnosis, et cetera, that could have contributed to the heart risk. It's called a metadata review. Researchers utilize this in order to determine connections, in order to determine cause and effect. Usually you do studies like this, you provide significant correlation. Now you're looking for causation, all right? And this is what studies like this highlight. The investigators from Boston University analyzed data from 48,320 participants in the Black Women's Health Study, a large U.S. cohort composed exclusively of black women. Participants resided across all U.S. geographic regions and were followed for a median of 24 years. From baseline racism assessments in 1997 through 2023. During follow-up, 1,343 incident heart failure events occurred. The results. Investigators assessed two dimensions of perceived interpersonal racism, a daily racism score capturing every interactions and self-reported discrimination in employment, housing, and encounters with police. More than half of participants, 58%, reported discrimination in employment, 36% in housing, and 23% in interactions with police. 11% reported experiencing discrimination in all three domains. After adjustment for demographic and clinical risk factors, discrimination in each domain was associated with higher heart failure risk, and risk increased with cumulative exposure. Women who reported discrimination in all three domains had a 27% higher risk of heart failure compared to those reporting none. The study says, and I quote, our findings underscore that different aspects of psychosocial stress disproportionately experienced by black women may portend elevated heart failure risk independent of socio-demographic risk factors, identifying additional risk factors that may underlie the disparity in heart failure risk among black women. End quote. The researchers wrote, further studies are needed to understand the biological pathways underlying this risk and how it may vary by heart failure phenotype. Now, basically, you have social elements that impact the psychology or the psychological experience of the participant, which then has a physiological effect or response. That is your correlation. You now have to determine causation. You have to determine the mechanics of why this happens. And that is what a study like this provides opportunity for. We'll keep you updated on the future study.